Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam, before he passed away, he made a will. That will is mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in Torah, and it is also mentioned in the ahadith. In authentic ahadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam have talked about this will of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. That Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam said to Bani Israil, when you leave Egypt, he knew that there will be a time when they will have to leave Egypt. So he said, when you leave Egypt, take my body with you. Don't leave me alone over here. Although alone doesn't mean that Bani Israil were not buried over there, but as we know, Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam are alive in their qubur. So Bani Israil, when they were leaving Egypt, they came to a very dark area. It was so dark that they couldn't see anything. They turned to the other direction with Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, of course, and again it became dark in that direction and they couldn't see anything over there. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam said to them, it looks like there is something we are missing. Does anyone remember anything? What is it that we are not doing right? So some of them said, we remember the will of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. That he said, he made a will that take me with you when you leave Egypt. Musa alayhi salatu wassalam said, then this has to be the reason. So he said, then tell me, where is the qabr of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam? They said, no one knows about the location of that qabr except there is one old lady. She is the only person out of Bani Israil at this time who know the whereabouts of the qabr of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. But she doesn't tell anyone. He said, okay, let me talk to her. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wassalam called her and said, you know what we are going through now? We cannot leave Egypt in this situation if we don't take the body of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam with us. So we have to dig it out and take it with us. Can you tell us where is the whereabout of the qabr of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam? She said, I don't tell anyone. I have one condition now. If I tell you, she's talking to Musa alayhi salam, if I tell you the whereabout, I have one condition for that. He said, okay, what is your condition? He said, you promise me that I will be with you in Jannah. Now this lady is demanding to be in the level of Anbiya alayhimu salatu wassalam in Jannah. Musa alayhi salatu wassalam thought that she's asking too much. So Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wassalam tried to talk to her out of that condition and said, you know, this is it's not about one person's situation. The whole nation is going to be destroyed, and you see the Pharaoh and his army are following us. Are you going to let the whole nation just die like this on the hands of their enemies just because your condition is not being fulfilled? She said, that's up to you whether you want to fulfill my condition or not. If you don't fulfill it, I'm not letting you, I'm not telling you. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when he's making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, really he doesn't want that to happen. Like, according to him, she's asking too much. When he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if she knows and this is her demand, then fulfill her demand. And this shows us the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's a giver and he gives as much as he wants to give, no one can stop him. Like, this is beyond imagination now what this lady is asking, what this old lady is asking. Really, in reality, this is beyond imagination. So, Musa alayhi salatu wassalam told her, okay, your condition will be fulfilled. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, He could have informed Musa alayhi salam through the wahi that, okay, leave her, let her go. I will tell you the whereabouts of the qabr through one of the malaika. But no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't want to do it that way. He said, okay, she knows it and she wants some reward for that information. And the reward she's asking is not a worldly thing. This is her iman, that she wants to be at the level of Anbiya alayhi salatu wassalam. So, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam told her that, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to fulfill your demand and you will be with me in Jannah. Now tell us the whereabouts. So she told them the whereabouts. They dug the grave out and they took the body of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam with them. I will come back to this point of Bani Israil leaving Egypt, inshallah, later on. But this hadith that I just mentioned, now, by the way, so that we know, two parts of it, it's well known between the Old Testament and the Hadith, so I can say between the Jewish community and between the Muslims. One is that Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam made that will of taking him with them. Number two, of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wassalam fulfilling that demand and they're taking Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam's body with them. These two parts are agreed upon. Now the detail that I mentioned about this old lady and all of this is in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Basically, it's a very interesting hadith when we look at the full hadith, that once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was traveling and he happened to stop in a small village where there were only few people living in that area. So they stopped by one of the villagers' tent. And that villager happened to be a very generous person, which was normal for Arabs, still goes in their blood, generosity. So that person really served Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba that were with him, and he gave them food, brought them milk and all of that. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, anytime you visit Medina, make sure you come and visit me. I will inshallah try to take care of you. And this was of course his habit. If someone does anything for him, then he would try to repay people for that. Once this villager came to Medina and he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When this person came into the masjid, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, and he made a place for this villager next to him. So Sahaba were very surprised that who is this man now here, that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving him so much respect that is calling him all the way up in the front of the gathering and giving him a place next to him. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him who the man was, and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam likes to give him some respect and honor in return of what he has done for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the journey. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to welcome him, to receive him good, and to repay him for what he has done, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, ask for whatever you want. If you have any need, ask for it. I will do whatever I want to do, but in addition to that, I really want to fulfill some of your needs. So that villager said, give me a camel and few goats, according to their level of understanding. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to teach us as an ummah and Sahaba that were sitting there especially, to teach everyone a lesson, he said, how come you people don't be like the old lady of Bani Israil. Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in asked, Ya Rasulullah, what does that mean when you say being like the old lady of Bani Israil? Who was that lady and what is that story? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam then told them this full story that I just mentioned to you. That instead of asking any worldly gain, that okay, when we go over there, when we settled over, when we get settled, wherever we go, give me a land, build me a castle, give me this. She asked to be in the company of Anbiya in Akhirah. So Prophet ﷺ is telling us that always work hard to be with Anbiya in the hereafter.